Welcome back, everyone. The Vitality Check podcast. This week, we're actually going to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, we completely dropped the ball last episode.
The intro episode.
I kept waiting for Sean to do it, but and I didn't want to embarrass you. But
yeah, so we'll start with the strikingly handsome man to my left.
wow.
Yeah, you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Kev.
If you could give us a quick bio, like I'm talking quick, like please.
Okay.
Like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
All right.
a bit lengthy.
Well, I am a certified athletic therapist and osteopath. I've been treating in the Montreal area since 2007.
Since your release.
Since my release from juvie. No.
Probation. Off probation.
Yeah.
Yeah, live in and work in the West Island. Have a wife and 3 kids. Bit of a weekend warrior.
Long walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach is
You're a weekend warrior, are you?
I am.
Okay.
And a weeknight warrior.
Oh, and a weeknight.
Oh.
warrior, yeah.
Boom. No, I just love all things sports. I like to play games. I like to kid around with these 2 fools, and that's my MO.
Awesome. And then the extremely handsome guy to my right, Dr. Sean Landry.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're
Thank you for having me.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh God, thank you.
My hands are warm. Jeez,
Yeah, yeah.
nervous.
Perfect for today's topic.
For today's topic,
Yeah.
the nervous system. Yeah, that should have been one of those. So, you got to
nice.
be quicker on that. Yeah, I'm Dr. Sean Landry. I'm a chiropractor here in the West Island of Montreal. I've been
Allegedly.
practicing since 2005. I joined up with Vitality in 2011, 2012.
Mhm.
Moved back from out west. I was practicing in BC for a few years.
Face
Yeah,
litigation.
yeah, had to
Several
run.
times.
Had to run from that province. Had to run.
No longer allowed back.
Yeah.
But no, I am happy to be here at Vitality. It's been a lot of fun, and I also I love everything sports. I'm
Cricket?
into love cricket. No, I would play cricket honestly.
Cricket would be good.
Give me a paddle, give me anything, I'll play it. But no, I
High
grew
level
up-
ping pong.
definitely anyone.
Anything with
wants
a
to
paddle. Sean's
Anyone,
good at it, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
anything
frustrating.
if you want to challenge me in a weekend warrior sports, I'd be definitely up for the challenge. But I played college hockey in the States. I love
Walks
I
in the
love
park.
long walks in the park. But just threw me on the spot here, so I said I'm nervous. Big introduction about myself. I
That's enough. I
definitely
think
love
that's
to
enough.
practice a holistic style. I have studied osteopathy in the past. I've studied applied kinesiology.
Failed all of them.
Yeah, still learning every day. Got thick skin working with these guys, so nothing hurts anymore, right?
No.
It used to hurt.
It's from a
initially.
loving place.
It used to hurt. I got now I work my obliques, so
Now you
all
cry a lot.
all the jabs I get,
Welcome
constantly
to the club.
from this guy.
You
dare
helped
you
soften the
to.
blow. You came with soften the blow on me.
I also have 3 boys. I come from I have a family of 3 boys. Keep me busy. They're into sports, taekwondo and hockey and soccer and all sorts of things, and ping pong as well. I have a beautiful wife, a dog. I have cats. My wife's a veterinarian. What else? I mean, most of you who are listening to this podcast probably know a little bit about us, right? Because I've seen you in the office before. I usually smile at everyone sitting in the waiting room.
It's creepy.
Even if you're,
It's big creepy.
it is a bit creepy. Even if you're going up to see Kevin or Jason or any of our therapists here at Vitality. So, anyways, if I haven't met you yet, don't be shy. If you're in the office and you see me, I would love
Smiling
you.
weirdly at you.
Smiling weirdly at you.
That's Sean.
I would love for you to reciprocate, smile weirdly back at me, and then I know you'll be listening to the Vitality Check
There we go.
podcast,
There we go.
Well
and
done.
and we will share a moment. Yeah, there you go. Should we do Kev's for him?
Well, now we'll move on.
Yeah,
to
if you guys want to do
Yeah.
mine, that's perfect.
our super host for the day.
Yeah, super host.
I thought we agreed on mega host. But anyways, go on.
So,
Kev is Kev I've known since 1997, because we were both wearing
Wow.
the same shirts at university in anatomy class, so we kind of introduced ourselves to each other.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
golf
We're
polo.
going back.
Oh my
Golf
God.
polo.
Yeah. Kev. Yeah, that's about all I know.
I could do it.
So I did.
That's
I thought you
about
could do it. Yeah, you
all
do
I
it. You do
got.
it.
I could.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm Kevin Longbraid, osteopath, just like Jason.
Extraordinaire. Osteopath extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire. I am the elder of the three.
Yeah. By about 15 years.
But oddly enough, Jason looks the oldest. But, so yeah, osteopath here at Vitality, and like Sean was and Jason were alluding to, we all have this holistic approach to healing, the healing arts we are in, and so I'm same thing. I guess weekend warrior. I'm on the bench right now because I'm
On the
awaiting,
bench.
some hip repair.
Prosthetic.
As we said,
My
elder
right
of the
leg
group.
is significantly
The elder
shorter.
of the group.
So I'm,
emaciated hip.
I'm having a wooden leg put in.
Well, that's the natural way
I
to do it.
can't wait to be back.
It is. It's
Aye.
very holistic of you.
Yeah, get back to
Wait.
pickleball.
Dodgeball. He'd be the pirate.
Dodgeball. Yeah.
Pirate.
Wow. Captain of the Concordia dodgeball team. But anyways, whatever. No big deal. But that's it. So yeah, enough about me. Let's get right on our
Kevin also has.
topic.
Kevin has
also
three kids as well.
I
Kevin-
do.
Yeah, Kevin has 3 girls, a beautiful wife, Catherine, who you might know.
Yes,
She also works with us at Vitality.
that's right.
What else, Kev? Kev is definitely
it. We're,
the,
He's got a
the
dog.
comic release here.
Got
at-
a pet skunk.
oh, he has a dog. Yeah, Kevin has a
I
dog.
do have a Ben skunk and spider.
Kevin enjoys a good a nice talk, a warm hug, and a good cry every
and
every
Evening.
week, at least every week.
evening.
it is good to cry every day, I think.
Oh yes,
As long
it
as
is.
no one sees you.
Yeah. No, better out than in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
On that note, the kids do make fun of me a lot for crying at ridiculous things.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think they're not ridiculous. I
But
think
the
they're
crying-
actually cold-hearted.
It's the crying happens easier as we age.
It's hard to blame them when if there is a sunset every day, right? So
Yeah.
if you're crying for sunset, it gets to be a
Dude,
bit
have you
much.
really paid attention though?
I know, it's gorgeous.
Come on.
Oh.
How could you not? So on that note,
Yes.
we're going to talk about
What's today's
why
episode
I
about?
cry a lot.
What's today's episode about?
We're going to talk about the autonomic nervous system.
Ooh, sounds spicy.
So in our in our profession, yeah. So please try and stay awake.
Sounds
Yeah.
so.
we'll bring some comic relief to it.
Sounds so interesting.
Had
Kevin
Sean,
voted for this.
I have no idea how good this is going to be today. This is the one and only thing people need to know. After this, probably this is it.
We
Like,
can drop the
this
mic
is
on the
episode.
podcast. Yeah.
No, but it's
We'll just
done.
always refer back to this episode.
over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Go check
See
out
episode
2.
Yeah. For answers to all
Life.
the other ones. Yeah.
Life's questions
Yeah.
solved today.
Even Buddha talked about
Yeah.
the NS.
Say that again.
He didn't?
What did you say?
What did you say, Sean?
Anyone else talk about the NS?
I heard
or just-
anus.
No,
A-N-S.
Sean, we're not.
ANS.
There's no room for toilet humor here, Sean. Okay? Please hold on a second. Thank you.
But you have to admit, farts are pretty funny.
Farts are hilarious. If you don't think farts are funny, that you have a serious problem. Anyways, yeah. So the the autonomic nervous system. So why do we want to talk about this? This is probably it's the one thing in the body, the part of the nervous system that helps regulate us. So as well, I guess as you don't know, because if you're listening, you probably don't know much.
My
I'm just
wife
kidding.
regulates me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well we know that.
Yeah.
But so
I mean, she balances me. That's what I meant to say.
she completes you.
She
you mean.
completes me. Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't seen, check out Jerry Maguire. I think that's from that movie.
You guys also complete me.
Yeah. So Sean, you're gonna make me cry. Stop it. Okay.
Back to defining the ANS.
Oh yeah, right. So the ANS has. So if you picture this, it is our regulatory process in the body. So you're going from a stressful state, or a taking action state, so what they call the fight or flight section of the nervous system, versus the parasympathetic, which is actually the rest and restore part of the nervous system. So
sympathetic was the first one. You didn't quite say it. Sympathetic is the fight or flight. Parasympathetic,
Yeah.
rest and
Rest
digest.
and
Yeah,
repair.
so those are the two divisions. So you have kind of like have two bosses. What tends to happen is, so as we wake up in the morning, we have higher levels of cortisol and adrenaline to get things going so that we can get stuff done during our day. So this part of the nervous system is very, very essential. And then when you technically come home later in the day and into the night, the sympathetic will start to dim down, and the parasympathetic starts to take a little more dominance when you go to sleep. So that's where they release melatonin and all these things to help you have restful sleep so that you can recuperate.
Rest and repair.
Rest and repair. The problem lies in that, and that's what we'll go into today, is that many, many people are not properly regulating because of the high pace of how we live, because of not taking time to take care of themselves.
An endless number of possible reasons.
100%.
Right? Life stresses, external stimuli, internal stimuli, all the above.
So
And both of these zones are actually normal, quite normal.
of course.
Absolutely.
You need both of them.
For
right?
sure. If you're in a but you're right, Sean. If you're in a in a scenario where something very significant happens, or there's been a fire or something, you need to escape, then that's why we have our sympathetic
It's
system.
not time to take a nap.
It's not time to take a nap. It's time to act, be alert, be quick, and that's what the sympathetic system does for us, right? It pumps in the adrenaline, the epinephrine, and it gets us going. But then it's all about regulating and then finding back that in that homeostasis kind of level. That's where I think you're saying, Kev, is like we just many people that come in that have had some issues. I don't think there's one of us in any profession, and we can probably include the physios and the massage therapists here, that we're, all of us are trying to address just that, the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, to help to regulate, to help the body cope better, and to help the body fight for itself, right?
That's right.
It's funny, you look back to the 6 tenets of osteo, and when you don't know what to do as an osteopath, you go back to the same thing. Are the cranial bones moving? Is the sacrum moving to the ilia? You're going back to the basics. Can you just get this person on axis, and can you allow some room for their bodies to recover and start to repair themselves?
So actually, that's great, because you said the word homeostasis. Maybe explain homeostasis for our audience, our listeners.
Well, homeostasis, I just like to think of it as
I'll get the dictionary, Jay.
Yeah. Like, according to Webster, which I just know offhand, no, think of homeostasis as like a balance, right? So it's like you're either balanced or unbalanced. It's no perfect, but homeostasis allows your body to function and to do all of these various functions that we don't have to think about every day. They just take place because all of our bodies are operating within certain parameters. So when you go get your blood work done and it shows these levels in the range to be in, that's homeostasis, when all your markers come back and they are in the range they're supposed to be, and that shows that your body is operating as efficiently as it can.
So what I would say exactly to that would be all the spectrum is good. It's just if you get stuck in one versus the other for longer than desired, right? That's when it can become a problem, right? So what we're looking for is the ability to move through these different zones efficiently when you need to, but also come back to somewhat of a balance point in between, right? You don't want to be stuck in either of them for too long, because they each have their own problems, right?
It's becoming like what we'll discuss today as part of the solutions to this, is becoming self-aware enough to master what state you're in, to understand what state you're in, which we'll describe in a little more detail today, of what are the symptoms of being stuck in sympathetic activation too much, so in the high stress zone, versus being in the parasympathetic. So if we understand those a little bit better, then a person could be a lot more in charge of their health and promote a better healing process in the body, because they understand the state game. Like, oh yeah, like it's true, I never take time to bring myself back down, and I'm always stuck in this high alert state because of my work, because I have a family, because I don't know, any stressor. So like, that's maybe where we could go first, is like, because some people get the concept that, oh, this is just from mental stress. there are so many stressors that affect the adrenal system. So the adrenal system being what secretes the stress hormone in the body. And so there can be things from mental stressors to physical stressors, like being in pain, from environmental stressors, chemical stressors.
Yeah,
all these various types of things can affect the nervous system. So, and I'm sure you guys see this constantly in your offices, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what would you say nowadays is probably some of the top things that people are suffering from on a regular basis that maybe they're not aware of, that we could discuss, and what are the symptoms that these things cause? So let's go there. Why don't we go to painting a bit of a picture of, well, what does that look like when you're stuck in that high stress state? What are some of the things you can suffer from?
Well, I'll kind of expand on that a little bit. So
Sure.
often what I find for people to come in to see myself, I would say when I see a new patient, I'd say roughly 50-50 split. 50% of people come in and say, I did this is when my pain started and it hasn't gone away. And the other half say, I don't remember doing anything. There was no mechanism of injury, but now this pain's not going away. So for that latter part, for that second part, that's what that's part of my explanation to them. Like, well, I don't get it. I didn't do anything. But then when you get on their body, you can see that just how much compensation has occurred through their body, particularly the craniosacral axis.
Yep.
And I'll explain to them that it's often not just one thing, it's accumulation of things. So they've been going through and their body's been compensating and trying to adapt for most of these people years. And that it's a time where your body says, I can't do this anymore. Time out. I need some external help or whatever, or some awareness by the individual to some, it's time to understand a bit more. That's what I really feel is maybe not the symptoms right away, but that's the feeling, as the explanation. Like, it's not just one thing. It's the fact that your body's had to accumulate, and it's usually multifactorial. And just having that conversation and bringing someone's awareness to that and their understanding of how that what that can do to their body is, I believe, step one for helping them get better.
That's probably the number one thing we can coach them on, right? Is
exactly.
Understanding that, we have a limited amount of compensation in the body, and then when you run out of room, that's when the symptom starts to surface, right?
I think you said that, Sean, in some things too, where you get to like a point where you fill up a cup, but then it's supposed to drain again. But if that cup keeps staying full, and then it just takes a small little stimulus to overcome again, it's like they're caught in this kind of neurological loop where they can't kind of escape and get out of that again.
So I think that's actually the greatest analogy, is that it's that empty cup, right? You're at the empty space, and it actually comes, it's funny because then you can flip that and say, that's why you got to fill your cup up first, because you can't give from an empty cup. But this analogy will flip it a bit. So
depends what you're filling it with.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. Depends what you're filling with. So that empty space in the glass is based on so many factors, right? Who you are, your environment, what is the cast or the mold that you've created that shapes who you show up every day? That empty space is your capacity to buffer stress. Kevin, you said it: stress, mental, physical, emotional, chemical, food, whatever, toxicity. If you start to add all those into the cup, now you have less room in that cup. So you have less room, less of a buffer to handle stress. So someone who, like you say, wakes up in the morning, I don't know why my neck went out. I guess I'm just on the wrong, I slept wrong, or I'm the wrong side of 40. I don't know,
I must have did something wrong.
I must have done something wrong. No, right? So it could be all of these other factors that contribute to it. And then, yes, that unfortunately was, maybe you didn't sleep well, or you, something very stressful happened to you the day before. And that was all that it took for that buffer to no longer be there. And then now your glass is overflowing and a neck, right? That's just a simple analogy. It could be something else, right? So the body will, as you said, will compensate until it can't anymore. You'll rob Peter to pay Paul until eventually shit hits the fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you start, Kevin, you said it initially, unless you start to become aware of your states, right?
Yeah.
The United States of Kevin. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So symptoms, I don't want to forget that. Yeah.
Symptoms.
So do you want to go over the symptoms, and what do people come in, Kev? What are they presenting with?
That's why in our questionnaire, when we see people, right, we have these questions in there to ask the appropriate things to see what state is this person in. Like, what do we have to do to actually help them out the best we can with one, not just the treatment we're doing, but when they leave here, what are they going to do on their own to actually help rebalance themselves to have the best potential to actually heal themselves and feel better, right? So that's why we ask questions. Like some of the most common ones is people that suffer from not sleeping well.
That's a good
digestive functioning.
A way of looking at it. These symptoms could be check engine lights. That's a really good kind of. We all understand that. Well, my check engine light on my car comes on, the oil, whatever, the reminders, right? Well, oftentimes symptoms, sometimes subtly, if we learn to listen to them, can be those check engine lights, so that you can then, listen to or ignore, right? It's your choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that, I don't know about you guys, but those are like big ones for sure. Or people that are complaining about it constantly being sore, constantly being tight. Like all these things are usually the result of higher cortisol levels, higher and not enough rest and repair, like we said, because that parasympathetic system is responsible for regulating things in our body, like digestion, like our sleep, like our recovery, and all
symptoms, changes of sleep patterns, changes of digestive patterns,
right.
changes of all that stuff. Any change in appetite, change in energy levels, all those things are showing this taxing that's happening on the body. And
each individual will manifest differently, right?
Yeah.
Based on a variety of circumstances, right? So like you say, digestive issues, right? So stress will affect people differently. Sympathetic tone will affect people differently. Like you say, some people might have trouble sleeping. Some people might, might worry. Some people might not heal well, right? Some people might not heal well. There are so many different symptoms that can happen from being stuck in that fight or flight state.
Yeah, they have one night out and they're gassed for days. Or they don't bounce back like I did when I was
don't
20.
recover like I used to.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sick more often than I used to, right? We see that in community
or it lasts
all
for a
the
long
time. Right?
I'm sick now for cold.
Yeah, I can't get over this. Right?
So decreased immune response.
Decreased immune response.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when we talk about our intake form and it's got, what are our main stressors, it makes me think of another question we have is, what are your hobbies and interests?
Yeah.
And I've had people over the years where when I ask them, because they haven't filled that part out, and there's a delay, and they're like,
start bawling.
And some have cried, and others are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking like, you're not filling up your own cup, right? If you're giving, you're not feeling well, but you're doing everything for everyone else and not for yourself. It's pretty indicative that I'm looking at ANS stuff when someone says something like that, right? Because if you're not doing anything for yourself, then there's no way your nervous system's being fed like we need it to be.
So we can generalize, but
like you said too, Sean, that was a good point about like not everyone is the same, right?
No.
So not everyone's capacity to handle X amount of stress will be the same. So that's why you'll see many people that go through like, this hyperactivity of the adrenal system for a while, and they can handle that for a while, but then they fall into this what's like adrenal fatigue. Like eventually your adrenals get tired of being stressed all the time.
Yeah.
And they get a little lazy in secreting that hormone to regulate stress. And then that's when you can have the extreme version of like, okay, well, you are clearly not listening, so we're going to do a bit of a burnout right now.
We'll make you listen.
So, but you, like you were saying, like there could be people that do that for 50 years and they never even get close to the burnout stage, but then other people a couple months of it and then they just drop off. So again, depends on what are you doing, like Jason said, to fill your cup. That's so key. So we'll talk about some of those today. And then, which encompasses so many things, right? Like anything from exercise to some mind work to a whole bunch of things to help mitigate this and regulate yourself on a more regular basis, right?
Yeah. Usually, it's funny because I would generalize I guess in community we tend to see more people stuck in sympathetic kind of overdrive, right? But the opposite is true, right? Because you can be, even an example would be like once your adrenals do burn out, you kind of now you're really down,
always
right?
tired, yeah.
You're always tired, lethargic, right? Which is a little bit different than I guess being stuck in the parasympathetic tone. It's just a different way of coming out of it, but very similar actually. If you're down, if you're too down, that's a whole other problem. But I would generalize we do see more people that are, especially in this day and age, rushing everywhere. You got lots of things on the go. Even getting here sometimes to our appointments, right? We always, if they're rushing, they're late or whatever, they walk in, they're distracted. It's like it's evident in society how distracted we are and how kind of how we're all living in this fight or flight state.
Yeah.
So, we joke sometimes, all right, you're here, take a deep breath, right? Now it's time to focus on you. And it's very hard to come down from that. So why don't we flip there? Why don't we go, all right, now into this part of the podcast, why don't we talk about, all right, what can we do?
Some solutions.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about what we do as therapists as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could throw that in there. So one thing for sure to mention is that I think a major thing when they talk about heart coherency, so meaning like the more distressed you are and off path you are from things you want to do in life to your job, to what you're doing with your kids, to all this thing, that's when that incoherency happens in the body. And the more we work on being in better alignment with all these things, we become more coherent. That's when the nervous system works its best. So it's, again, like for those that have heard that term before, that's what they're talking about, is like that being in sync is a huge factor to our ability to, one, take on stress and mitigate it better. So yeah, you want to jump right into what we do first?
Well, no, I was thinking afterwards. I think you're right, Sean. Let's go more into what you're saying as far as like
Some solutions.
what can we do, some solutions.
Yeah. So what would be the number one thing, Sean, that you talk about all the time?
So, well, I guess the first thing, you said it very early on, is being aware of the states you're in. So it would be noticing, the ability to notice that, you're stressed.
Yeah.
That maybe it's the environment that's stressing you, maybe it's the self, maybe it's your reaction to the environment.
That's the way that Sean looks at you in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I smiled
That
at you.
uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
Really, like,
Maybe I smiled at you.
Yeah.
The wrong way. But that would be awareness. Whenever we talk about healing in general, the first thing is awareness. It's recognizing exactly where you're at and being honest with yourself, right? With love, with empathy, with kindness. It's the ability to be like, oh shit, I'm here. Okay. Now, from there, right, I would say the next thing, and this is actually from Dr. I'm drawing a blank on his name here.
Zeus?
Dr. Zeus.
Kevorkian?
Yeah, Dr. Kevorkian. Tim Ferriss, he teaches out in...
Dr. Nick?
He teaches out in Vancouver.
Riviera?
Oh man, he's so good. He's a older gentleman, was in the Holocaust. He talks about stress and ADHD.
Oh, Gabe Mate?
Yeah, Dr. Gabor Mate. So he wrote a really good book. It's called When the Body Says No. When the Body Says No. And that's one of the first things they talk about awareness, right? So when the body finally says, no, I've had enough, right? It quits on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we were alluding to. It's like the cup overflows, symptomatology starts to show. I was able to handle it. I can't anymore. So the first thing for him too is awareness. And the next thing is acceptance.
Yeah. So on the awareness thing, that's it. Just quickly, like one thing to notice, like let's say a scenario pops up and you're a stressful thing for you that's reoccurring, right?
Yeah.
So what Sean's saying, like the awareness part is not almost like, okay, yeah, this is stressful. It's your reaction to it. Pay attention to, like, you're probably stop breathing.
Yeah.
Your shoulders are up by your ears. You're probably, like short with people, like
how does my body react? How does my
attention
body feel?
to calming that down, which we'll get to after. But
What am I doing?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
What am I feeling? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Then
great.
acceptance.
Yeah, so that's acceptance. So then it's again the same kind of theme. It's with love, with empathy. You accept where you're at, because once you accept where you're at, you can then make the changes needed. So with acceptance, I would say honesty, right? So oftentimes we have this conversation with my patients, and I say, "All right, it's time to look in the mirror and go, like, stop lying to yourself, right? Because you're responsible for this state that you've shown up in." And people would argue, no, there's all sorts of other externalized factors, right?
Stop crying, push it down deep.
But exactly, but it's actually being honest with yourself. So it's accepting where you're at and being honest with yourself, and then being ready to then take on the responsibility of working to improve your situation. So that's kind of, you know, in a nutshell. And then, yeah, it's going to be, for some, it might be easier than others. But that's where a good therapist will help support you through the process, right? That's where, you know, having good people in your life will support you through the process. That's where having a good relationship with the self, right, and being honest with yourself will help you through the process, right? Because you can get through it, right?
Well, so that's great, John. Like, so the awareness part, the acceptance part is so key because it's really is the beginning to being able to create change is seeing that there's an issue and knowing like, okay, well, all things will change. Like I just have to be willing to participate in that.
And it gives purpose to then take some steps moving forward to actually create that change.
Of course. Which then, Jay, maybe you can add on to this. So what are some things that people could do right away that that could help them with their state?
Sure. Well, speaking from the the viewpoint that most people, like we said earlier, are coming in with the sympathetic system kind of on overdrive, is the number one thing I usually go to with people is talking about breathing and working on their breath.
Yep.
You know, breathing is controlled by our parasympathetic nervous system, just like the beating of our heart and the secretion of our digestive enzymes and stuff. These are things like our nightlights that are always working in the background, and we have no real, we don't have to put any intentional movements or actions on them for them to operate. I often, you know, say to people that most people breathe incorrectly or certainly don't use the full excursion of their diaphragm with normal day-to-day breathing.
Mm-hmm.
But that is important to train that muscle just like any other muscle. And it is probably the most effective way for people to regulate their nervous system. So we breathe on average about 22,000 times a day. And it's important that I think that we have some focused, intentional breathing, especially in this group of people that are struggling with being too sympathetic. So that's my number one go-to. I coach them on different breathing methods. There's many ways to do this. People have heard of Wim Hof or box breathing, and it can be anything.
Triangle breathing.
Yeah, as long as I usually coach them on, breathing, with the diaphragm to get some excursion of the rib cage and in volumetric excursion with, and maybe feedback with having their hands on their stomach and seeing how they're getting a full excursion of the diaphragm, not just breathing apically. And then to spend, 2 or 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes every day, at least once a day, working on that.
There's some interesting research that shows within, it's something like some crazy study, but 6 deep belly breaths is enough.
Oh yeah.
To bring you back.
To elicit change.
Or center your body, right? Bring you back within your body, and just trigger the parasympathetic, right? Bring the scale back in favor.
The wave.
Yeah, the wave, right? And it's as easy as 6 deep belly breaths. So, I recommend, again, all of us just throughout the day, periodically, just sit quietly, or when you're standing in line somewhere, if you feel yourself starting to, maybe the temperature's rising, or you're feeling your shoulders tighten up, just kind of relax your shoulders and just take 6 deep belly breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, however you want to do it. Just deep into your diaphragm, into your belly, expand your rib cage, expand your belly.
Yep.
And that is enough to just ignite the switch, right?
Yeah, breath is fine. We could put that in the show notes. Actually, we'll have some of these things in our show notes. So the box breathing, triangle breathing, which is just different holds. So like breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding is box breathing.
Just visualizing a box as you breathe and hold, right?
Or breathing in, hold, breathing out is triangle breathing, and then you could do conscious breath, like Jason was talking about, just these nice, calm, wave-like patterns where you're not actually holding your breath. You're just creating a nice wave pattern through your abdomen. And again, take the time you need to actually feel like the temperature is going down, like Sean was talking about. So those are all very, very good techniques to start having a direct impact on the autonomic nervous system. Your adrenals are like right under your diaphragm. So every time you
Breathe.
actually breathe like that,
It's a
you're
massage.
creating this like massaging effect on there to actually re-regulate the nervous system. So that's a fantastic way to do it.
So oftentimes less is more, right?
Yep.
Especially in this situation where, usually sympathetic kind of tone is regulated or is influenced by, like we talked about, all the externalized stressors that we're exposed to in our environment. So oftentimes to come back down, it's less is more, right? So good breathing, right?
Exercise.
And usually in this type of exercise, it's light. It's more of the yin type of exercise, right? So slower exercise with breathing.
Not hit workouts.
Not hit workout, right? Again, hit workout serves a purpose, but when you're trying to come back to level, you really don't want to add fuel to the fire, right? Because your body's having trouble recovering from life, right? So if you're doing these and again, this is a lot has to do with marketing and the world we live in, where I gotta hit it hard. I gotta feel it. But in this state, which we would argue most of us are in, less is more, right? So think yin, right? Yin, which is filling your cup up. That's the analogy. So breathing, walking, right?
Yeah,
gentle walking, right? Don't walk a marathon, just walking. Walking meditation, right? Meditation, sitting
probably
quietly.
The biggest thing is like no one takes pause.
Yeah, taking pause.
We're convinced that more is better and that we constantly have to be, trying to achieve something or trying to move towards something when, taking that pause to recharge the battery is actually what makes advancing in those things that much better and more clear. So those are one of the positive symptoms of doing this type of work. You have more clarity on what you want to do and how you want to move through it because you're not in that stress state. So it's just like doing anything, right?
Yeah.
Anyone would, like we all said that we all played sports, and same thing, right? You're not going into a sport with this stressed out mind that, oh my God, I better achieve this or I better do that. If I don't do this, oh my God, what's going to happen with that? Then you have a poor performance quite often. You're priming the body to have a poor performance. Whereas if you take the time to actually calm down, visualize how you want these things to happen, visualization could be a great tool, not just for sport, for anything.
Yes.
It's just getting the body conditioned to seeing it in a different way so that it makes those steps easier to move through. Yeah.
Oftentimes when to bring this maybe more into clinical practice is if I have had that discussion with one of my patients and they've described how their cup has been overflowing for a while. We don't often people think of coming to see an athletic therapist or an osteopath or a chiro, and it's the exercise prescription and all that stuff, which yes is part of what we do. But oftentimes in those cases, I'll just say to them, you know what, find a half hour every day.
Yeah.
And do something that you want to do, that you love to do.
Yeah.
And it can be going to the gym if they want to do that, or whatever, or it can be reading a book, or it can be going for a walk. It's like, I don't really care what it is. It's you need to do something that's going to nourish you and it's going to help improve your state. And I didn't do that when I first started practicing. That came to me with years of experience, and that's been a huge game changer as far as I find buy-in. Maybe a deeper appreciation of like, I can do this and I am playing an active role in it, as opposed to saying, pull your knees to your chest for 30-second holds. You know what I mean? Like it's more holistic. It's more, real life, more impactful. And I think it really helps that awareness acceptance phase, like Sean, you were mentioning at the get-go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And as therapists, right, how we help people specifically, it's very, I'm going to say it's similar, different, right? I will, as a chiropractor, I'll address the neuromusculoskeletal system, right? Most people, end up in our office, again, we're generalizing, because some form of dysfunction. So whether it's physical dysfunction, joint dysfunction, pain, more for these guys, visceral dysfunction, but people end up in my office as well for a multitude of reasons, right? Something's not working well, and so they've sought out our care to help regulate things. So the same premise. Again, the foundations of the principle of the practices, right, of osteopathy and chiropractic are very similar but different. You know, ours is above, down, inside out. It's ensure that the nervous system is free flowing, that the nervous system can communicate well. So we would assess someone physically, and again, a region of the parasympathetic sympathetic system that is off is oftentimes our rib cage, right? So as Jason said, addressing breathing mechanics with the diaphragm. We can do adjustments or high speed, low amplitude adjustments to restore motion to the spine, which will influence the communication of the nervous system, right? So I always say motion is lotion, and if things are stuck or locked, right, they're not working well, right? So those things, if they're stuck or locked, they get dusty and rusty. So really establishing, restoring motion essentially, so that the body can communicate well, and your body knows how to heal and be healthy, right? You have this innate wisdom of how to heal and be healthy. Oftentimes, we're the ones that get in the way of this naturally occurring homeostasis.
That is 100%,
right. So
right.
Definitely addressing that initially, because usually someone's coming to see me for pain, and then along the way, again, it's a journey, it's a discovery. So as our relationship evolves, we might talk about other things mentally, physically, emotionally that could be contributing to the dysfunction that you find yourself in. So I'm generalizing. There are various ways to address sympathetic tone and why you got there, for example. But oftentimes it's like we say, less is more, right? Just carving time for yourself, creating an environment to heal and be healthy. You don't want to add more fuel to the fire, right? So it's removing things, it's reflecting, it's becoming aware of the state you're in, and then just slowly working towards, things that I think the biggest thing oftentimes the hardest thing for, our community members and our practice members to understand is that this didn't happen overnight, Sometimes, yes, there's a random slip on the ice, or but most of these things have been building for a while, sometimes a lifetime. So you got to be patient with, putting the pieces of the puzzle back together. And I think that's the most important thing that we try and explain to people is all right, this is an opportunity to learn, to reflect, to fix things that have gone wrong along the way, and improve yourself, improve your state. We're going to work with you to do that, and support you along the way. So it takes time, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I love it. It's not like we want them to go in there and go crazy, but carving that time out, it's like you said, it's a multitude of little things, but we can all be honest with ourselves and realize we could all be a bit better.
Yeah.
But when you're really down and out and you want to get your body fighting for you, it's okay. So are you doing anything for yourself? Yes or no? Do you do any physical exercise? You should incorporate some. How is your nutrition? Can you make it a little bit better? Are you drinking enough water? Can you do that better? Are you getting enough sleep at night?
Yeah.
So if you can just start to get some wins and little changes in each one, they all piggyback on each other anyway. As soon as you start lifting weights, guess what? You watch what goes in your mouth. As soon as you start to eat better, maybe I'll do something for my body to do it. Like, they're all so supplemental and comprehensive together that if you can just create some little wins and some little changes, you're going to help your body get stronger and get better faster. And it's usually a combination of a lot of those things that we don't do as well. Well, Friday nights we eat out and that's spilled into whatever. I only, maybe drink on the weekends. Sometimes that opens on Thursday night. I'm not really monitoring my sleep as well. We're watching a Netflix series and I want to get through, anything. But you do that over and over and over again, and you can see how you can kind of get out of that.
The snowball,
that lack
right?
of harmony.
It goes this
It
way,
snowballs,
and
totally.
then it goes the other way, right?
So
But our body, but our body is so fascinating that it's so malleable, and so we can give it so much. It can take a lot of reviews, but when you start to feed it properly, it's
snap
amazing.
right back.
Yeah, the capacity to auto-regulate is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's it, guys. You gave those are two great summaries of this particular topic.
I saw a tear.
This is going to come back. I almost cried.
Yeah, so beautiful.
I was holding it in.
So
Just
beautiful.
Being very patient, because
We
Anyways,
could go
it's
on for
supposed to be
hours
like a
for this.
45-minute podcast, but I don't know. I think it's going on for a bit.
It is 45 minutes exactly.
So the what we really want you guys to go away from this episode with is
to go away, to
get
take
out
away.
of your own get out of your own way. So by doing that, by being more aware, you start to decrease the amount of, like Jason was saying, that creating this malleability in the body is actually stepping out of those densities we've created. So it is very important to take some of these things that we've talked about, try and create your own routine that you feel comfortable with, and test it out. You have to test it out.
Yeah.
Nothing we're saying is the gold standard of like you have to do it like this. Come up with your own recipe of things that make sense to you, because then one, you'll have more likelihood of doing it. Two, you're gonna have more success, and you're gonna start to create changes that are more impactful for your health. So we'll definitely come back to this topic again, because there's so much stuff we could add to it to be more specific about certain areas about all this. So again, too, if any of you have questions on this or want more answers on anything we were talking about, please feel free to send your stuff to Jason. And then and then we look forward to talking to you guys again next week. It will be a surprise. We have no idea what we're going to talk about yet, but I guarantee it will
the outline and the plan
somewhat
is
humorous
it's in
and
the
fun.
works. It's in the works. But yes, subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts
Probably
are
some sort of link down here
subscribable, right? This stuff's all going to go up on the YouTube, on the YouTube as well. Share with your friends or colleagues, right? If you're in the Montreal area and you need a good therapist, we have plenty of awesome therapists here. Or a place,
Jason's basement is always open for business.
Yeah, he's got a great couch down there. Or you crawl right into bed with him. He's very, very, very friendly. So
nice.
We'll
considering the creepy theme.
Yeah. I like to smile.
All right.
We'll talk.
Let's just cut you off right there.
Till next time.